Have you ever thought of yoga as being satanic? Well, if you haven't, and I certainly haven't, it seems that there are plenty of people who do. There are people who think that yoga and asanas are of the devil. Let's start with the pastor of a megachurch in the United States who preaches to his congregation that yoga, with all its contortions called asanas, is evil because Hinduism is demonic. Then there's a Catholic priest in North Ireland who's on record to have said, if you do yoga, you're headed for the kingdom of darkness and will soon be drawn towards Satan and the fallen angels. There was quite an uproar to the priest's views from the local Hindu community, who asked the Pope to discipline the priest. Nothing has come of that yet, and perhaps it's because the Vatican's chief exorcist holds a similar view. He told the London Telegraph that doing yoga leads to a belief in Hinduism and that all Eastern religions are based on a false belief of reincarnation. Now, the father concluded by saying, practicing yoga is satanic, it leads to evil, just like reading Harry Potter. Wow. I'm not a fan of Harry Potter, so I may be spared some of the torments of hell, but I am a practitioner of yoga, and as a Bhakti yogi, I'm also identified as being a Hindu. But I still feel safe from going to hell because upon receiving a Bhagavad Gita, Pope John Paul II had said, I understand something about the deep spiritual concepts which are upheld in India, and I appreciate them. I've heard about Krishna, and Krishna is great, unquote. Now that's a relief. I ask those who hold that my faith is satanic or maybe something less sinister to consider that what makes me and another billion Hindus follow our spiritual conviction is no different than what makes them follow theirs. Authentic yoga practitioners and worshippers of Krishna like I have the same elements that make other faiths authentic. We have our inspired scripture, we have the divine founder of our persuasion, we have the centuries old, in our case 50 centuries old, spiritual tradition. So what's the difference between, for example, a Catholic's spiritual authenticity and that of a yoga practitioner? And here I really want to interject, just to emphasize that yoga is not all about asanas. It's about philosophy, meditation, and devotion. Study carefully the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, the core scripture of yoga and Hinduism, and you will find the same message as in the Bible, Quran, and Torah. What is that essential message of all authentic spiritual texts? Know God and love God. How much a tradition knows about the divine may vary, and how traditions express their love for the divine also varies. Why is that? Because people of the world have different kinds of faith. And to harmonize with the variety of man's faith, the one supreme manifests in different ways to different men and different women. Thus, there are a multitude of spiritual traditions, but the purpose is always the same, that the many men and women of the world may learn to know and love the one supreme. And loving divinity means to love each other. Therefore, rather than demonizing those of a different spiritual conviction, true spiritual followers will harmonize with their brethren. Thus, true religious men and women will see in others the search after the divine.